Welcome to the Broken Pencil Booking Company Pro Wrestling Podcast and radio show infused with hip hop. I am Wood.
Made daily with organic, farm to table, localized, neuralized, sterilized, Scotch guarded for 2020 repellent, available online, shipped via Amazon, not available on Sundays, but now available on thebeastradio.com. Broken Pencil Logic. You stay classy, internet. I'm Suave Burgundy.
It's a damn shame. And I don't know if you caught that too. But it's a damn shame that here we are in 2020. Tree!
Yeah.
You like that?
Yeah. I like that.
Like I did
I like that. Yeah.
It's a damn shame that here we are still Scotch guarded for 2020 repellent.
Boy. I mean, look. Look. It's back jumping outside.
If y'all act right, if y'all act right, we ain't got to worry about repelling you, mother.
Facts. We can change the show intro signature if you just fucking do what you're supposed to.
You have one job. Protect yourself.
And that's it. Self-preservation.
Suave, what's happening? Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you, sir. I mean, we outside, we counting money, we putting a little bit away for a rainy day, and we blowing the rest with the roof open.
As you can see, I'm a little, my voice is a little, I can't say I'm under the weather. This is a tragic mishap from an almost tragic over medication.
Miscarriage of justice.
Boy. That should be
Will you stop?
That should be a pay-per-view.
Bruh, they finna bring back the insurrection pay-per-view, what it look like right now.
Yo, so speaking of miscarriage of justice, insurrection, January 6th, year of our Lord.
Year of our Lord?
I said year of our Lord.
Year of our Lord?
20 and 20. Tree!
Tree wiggle-wee convenient. Bring me your dinner bucket. Domino. Oh yeah, this is gonna be lovely. This is gonna be a great year for us,
bruh. The things that have materialized. Erica Gotch, big shouts out to you. You know, instrumental in the future of the very near future of what this show holds.
Yeah,
change is coming. Good change coming.
Throwing stuff in the slow cooker.
Yeah. There's steam coming out the pot already. Where the news,
where do you want to begin?
The news of the day.
Depending on what day it is. Shit.
The news of the day on this day, Friday, January 6th, 2023. There is a meeting that has probably already concluded.
Yeah, by the time we started this, that's already over.
And Stamford, Connecticut, with the the return to, I guess, power of one Vincent Kennedy McMahon, who held the company that he once hostily took over hostage to return. I can't applaud or boo this.
So Pete, I'm looking at an update about the actual aforementioned meeting. Which we'll cite. This is Pro Wrestling Network releasing this, so we'll err on the side of caution to say we've never really used them as a source before. So,
which I have my go-to as well. So we'll go.
Facts. The WWE Zoom meeting has concluded. Long story short, business as usual. Talent was informed that Vince McMahon is back with WWE. However, Stephanie McMahon and Nick Khan are still co-CEOs, and Triple H is still head of creative. In fact, it was stressed that the day-to-day will have zero changes at this time.
There we go. That's the one thing we want to hear.
Yeah. So television is intact, and then we do have some financial side that comes with this. The WWE stock at close of trading today was up how much?
16.98% from opening bell.
Bruh. Because opening bell, we were up a full 11%. I was like, what? I don't usually get that active first thing in the morning with like sending text to people unless it's like absolutely necessary. Yeah. And I saw 11% jump, and I was like, "Oh no, you got to see this."
Yeah, it's let me pull up NYSE real quick.
God bless America.
The stock price all-time high was $96. That was April of 2019 after the announcement of the Fox deal.
Right.
It looks like today the highest it got to was $89.43, closing at $84.27, up $12.23 from the open.
Yep. I got 1237, but yeah.
Either way, you're winning.
Thanks.
It's a money getting occasion is what this is.
There is no greater description of corporate America than having a man with literally millions of dollars in sexual misconduct.
He owes the
payments.
company like between 16 and 20 million.
Right. But you bring that guy back to work after he air quotes retired and the stock jumps up. Which is what I was trying to explain to some people, shooting the shit earlier. It was like,
hold on, let's see what Ron has to say about this.
Price just went up.
Thanks, Ron.
Again. And it was like, yeah, okay, fuck it. So the conversation started because good old Kanos found a way to put his foot in his mouth on a day that he could have just laid low and not said a fucking facts. Facts. So Kanos decides to drop a tweet, and it's lighthearted enough, but with his history of conduct, it was completely unnecessary. So he says, and I quote, "Everyone at work is being so nice to me over the last 24 hours. I wonder why, ... It must be belated holiday spirit. Tongue in cheek. And then, the obligatory promo for tonight's Rampage. And I'm like, you have no business trolling this man about front office. You have no business trolling Stanford about front office anything.
You lost the talent in the EVP because your front office was blown up.
Like between weekly television ratings, front office misconduct, locker room fights and culture, and just anything. Just like leave him the fuck alone. And then the other part of it is like, really backhanded, sort of disconnected type of way. You're saying that the people who are around you are only around you because they don't like the guy on the other side. It's not because they want to be where you are, because you're providing the greatest of the great. It's because they just don't want to fuck with the old guy. like you. I want to quote this shit from Friday After Next, but I can't. We get canceled.
Yeah, don't do that. We like it here.
Yeah, we like it here, and it's first show of the year, so I can't get out there too far. But it's just like, you happy being a rebound,
boy.
Like, I've never seen this type of energy for being somebody's rebound. Like, that's essentially what it is when you're saying that. Like, so they were treating you like shit when it was just Trips in charge.
I mean,
when Vince during this, how many months? Because it happened in July.
In May. So it started in May.
I'm counting from the actual retirement.
Okay, that was in July.
So from July to January, and you have the nerve, like from July to January, like were people like treating you like shit or what? How does that work?
The product
either way you could have chosen better.
Yeah, the product didn't suffer, that's for damn sure, but the stock price took a major hit.
Right. So if you want to troll about finances, okay, cool. I mean, I guess whatever, but everybody's being nice to you. Like, were they not being nice to you during this period from July to January? I'm just like,
and just running through from on July 1st, the stock price was $62.56. By August the 1st, it had gone up to the 70s. And it was 70.71. So the biggest dip happened on, it's like anywhere remotely close to that time frame was June the 23rd. It got down to 59.43. So they ain't really been doing that bad.
Like essentially what all today means is that if you had 100 shares, you'd made a nice 2 racks.
Straight it depends on when what you bought them at.
I mean, if you already had it, and I'm timing everything from the time of retirement. So if you said Vince is out, the stock's dropped, I'm buying in at this 60, wherever this 60 point is. Today you would have made 2 racks with 100 shares.
100 shares of stocks. Yep.
And then multiplied going forward for however much money you want to get.
So,
and that's pretty much how we play the game.
All right, so here now we're back on to the fact that he brought in two of his closest allies to work with him to gain these seats back, and
these are the same 2 people he fired.
And this is in efforts to re-secure TV rights going forward and or impend the sale. From what we've gathered.
How bitter is old man River to say, you know what? I'm 80 plus, but fuck it. If I can't play with my toy the way I want to, I'm gonna kill it with fire. This is a storyline come to life. This is the NWO storyline come to life. This is 2002 all over again.
Well, he's not quite 80. He's close, but he ain't quite there yet.
Man, look, he's 80,
but still.
He's put a whole lot of. He's put more, what is he? 76,
77,
77. I know he's put an extra 3 years of stress on his system with all of his habits.
And I know
if we're gonna go by the rings in the tree trunk, he's probably 97.
What you gonna do? Slice off an ankle and start counting from there?
I mean. He damn near severed an ankle in 98. You see what I'm saying?
Man,
this shit does not stop. He's done it. You name it, he's done it.
Oh man, you're not lying.
So, stop me when I start lying. Otherwise, just roll with it.
But back on task though. So here we are having a similar discussion to what we had 6 months ago.
Right.
Who's up to bat? Disney's always on the table.
Yeah.
Content kings.
Always.
Content kings. Platform's amazing. They
covers ESPN and everything.
They've already learned how to monetize inside of a monetized app.
Right.
Like through premium purchases. So that's a plus.
NBC Universal is probably on it.
ESPN same. NBC Universal. The one thing I want to see out of them is the ability to capitalize on the premium on a premium tier for one-offs.
I think they would.
I'm sure they can figure it out with 70 million subscribers. I'm sure they can figure it out.
Facts.
If not, hire somebody to do a turnaround real quick. Fiverr's always looking for people to pay them a little bit of nothing.
I doubt NBC's going to Fiverr, but
right if they so chose.
But it's possible. I'm with you. Fox is probably in there somewhere.
Well, so here's my caveat with that one. If NBC Universal's on the table, they probably would snatch rights from Fox.
Right. So there's the bidding war.
And we're talking, it would have to be in excess of $5 million because between the both of them, $5 billion rather, because between the both of them right now, the shared rights deal between the both of them encompassing a combined concurrent 10 years is right around $4.7 billion.
Right.
So
can you imagine how much higher that number could have gotten if we were doing, if we were doing 2006 rating numbers? Boy. It would be a completely different conversation. Like, damn, going back to the Attitude Era when you were doing 6s and 8s every week.
And Fox
if you were just doing 3s.
And Fox has that ability that we're talking about within the app. They have a pay-per-view division.
Yeah. Now there are going to be a lot of people who don't like that if they go back to anything that resembles a standalone event purchase.
No. So it would make it damn hard. Let me put this out here now. It would make it damn hard, even if Fox were to pony up the money. Imagine relaying all that content from that you have completely modified to make appropriate for NBC over that 6-month gap from the network shutting down stateside and moving it over to a Fox over the top platform. I don't think it's doable, to be honest with you. Like
Fox may take the old shit the way it was because they're a little more
quote unquote edgy.
Yeah, a little more liberal, which is a fucking play on words.
The irony. the
irony.
The oxymoronicness.
I'm looking at it because the way you were saying about, premium tiers and premium events, like Kronos has kind of made the air where if you had someone who was subscribing to the app, so, okay, let's say Fox takes it over. Fox doesn't charge for access to their app at this point. So, you have to have access. You have to have a subscription to something that you're paying for to access all of the content. This is true, but what I'm saying is let's say for pay-per-views or for a WrestleMania, a Royal Rumble, events of that ilk. If Fox just said, you know what, we're gonna go back to something of a pay-per-view model where you actually have to purchase those events individually. Kronos' business model gives credence to believe that you can make that happen. As much as we personally would hate it, there's data that supports that it would work.
Absolutely, yeah, you're absolutely right. And mind you, Tony Khan has done this with not just Bleacher Report or BR Live. He's also done it with Fight TV, continues to do it internationally with Fight TV. So, and also all of the content from the early Dynamites, which was on TNT, is now on the TBS app. Not that it was a hard switch, but now if you want to go watch those first couple of years of Dynamite, you have to do so on the TNT app, even though it wasn't on the TBS app, even though it wasn't on TBS.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Yeah,
it is. So let's not even dive into the possibility of having to go back to paying for pay-per-views, which would be complete.
No. But there's a market for that, right?
Yeah, that was my whole point. But get back to the conversation of who else is in the running to actually on a potential sale. Who are potential buyers? I think that's the more interesting conversation for us right now.
Yeah, so we have Disney is there in the chat. NBC Universal is already in the chat. Fox is already in the chat.
Facts.
The one that makes the most sense to me is NBC Universal, simply because of their 30+ year long-standing relationship with WWE. Okay. Even with the 2-year gap with the national network, aka Spike TV, aka Paramount,
and because art imitates life. And you and I both know this is probably the furthest thing from being capable. But I mean, we like to shoot the shit and stir the pot.
It gives us something to do and something for you to listen to. Continue.
Kronos is liquid enough to be able to leverage enough money to be a part of whatever conversation.
Ooh, considering this is his baby and how smart he is.
Now, one thing he's known to be able to play with is some money.
Boy.
So when you have that much money liquid already, then you have all this other money that's coming in, not to mention the play money you're making from running AEW. You can leverage any creditor to give you whatever sum you want if you were gonna make the offer. Like how you basically jumped out of the gym on everybody for Ring of Honor. I don't know if at 77 Vince McMahon is willing to turn down $10-12 billion.
I'll do you one better. Regardless of who comes to the table, I guarantee you, whether it be from 100% of his own funds or him asking dear old dad for a handout, I guarantee you Tony Khan comes to the table and says, this is what I'll pay you for it. If he hasn't already.
Now, I fully suspect that McMahon's ego would not allow that to happen. Regardless of how big the number is, Vince's his last hurrah would not be selling to his direct competition.
He will not WCW the WWE.
Right. I brought it up because of the WCW tie, but we all know that Vince McMahon is entirely too proud. And this today is proof he's too proud to let this shit go the way people might think. So
the fact that WWE is a publicly traded company is a pride move.
Which is the other thing I heard come up a few times before we got back to this point of Vince being back at the table. Whereas, like, because he's the majority shareholder, he might just sell and go start his own shit again. And go back private. Now, if he goes back private, then it'll be some shit for real, because one, him going back private, he doesn't have to answer to anybody about content. Content ratings don't mean shit anymore.
Wouldn't that be some shit if he actually sold all of the IP in the library, but kept the buildings?
I mean, technically, that's what all these artists are doing with their publishing.
Like, he could, like you said, start his own shit. He could literally make a phone call one day, say it's a done deal. The next day, make phone calls and say, "Hey, who want to roll with the kid?"
Exactly, and because we just said in corporate America, at these networks, they hate new regimes. They hate change. They want to deal with things the way they've always dealt with them, and just change the decimal, move a comma, add a number. That's all they really want to do. They don't want to restructure shit. They don't want no new terms. So if Vince decided, fuck it, I'm selling, I'm gonna start my own shit the next day, and he calls for television placement, it's literally what day you want.
Let me read you something from the Federal Trade Commission's website, ftc.gov, for citing purposes. This is in a effort to ban or propose a rule to ban non-compete clauses. It says, the freedom to change jobs is core to economic liberty and to competitive, thriving economy. Non-competes block workers from freely switching jobs, depriving them of higher wages and better working conditions, and depriving businesses of a talent pool that they need to build and expand. By ending this practice, the FTC's proposed rule would promote greater dynamicism, innovation, and healthy competition. Research shows that employers' use of non-compete restricts workers' mobility, significantly suppresses workers' wages, even for those not subject to non-competes or subject to non-competes that are unenforceable under state law. The proposed rule would ensure that employers can exploit their outsized bargaining power to limit workers' opportunities and stifle competition. All that to say this. Y'all fucked. If y'all if this goes through and no compete clauses become a thing of the past. And the cool thing is it'll be healthy for TV ratings, because you're going to be watching that program on the same night. Like, say, for instance, if it's a Wednesday and somebody's contract expires or they decide to leave or get termed or what have you, they could pop up on SmackDown on Friday or Raw on Monday. Or someone on Raw on Monday could show up on Dynamite on Wednesday.
In my best Lee Corso voice, not so fast, my friend.
Get him, coach.
What we're forgetting about this, because everyone's through the roof about it, this potential cancellation of no compete clauses, this is for employees.
Well, actually, hold on. Let me break that down. This is also on the FTC site. Specifically, the FTC's new rule would make it illegal for an employer to enter into or attempt to enter into a non-compete with a worker, maintain a non-compete with a worker, or represent to a worker under certain circumstances that the worker is subject to a non-compete. The rule would apply to independent contractors and anyone who works for an employer, whether paid or unpaid. It would also
you can hit the bell.
It would also require workers to rescind existing non-competes and actively inform workers that they are no longer in effect.
Now you can open the can of worms. Now you can open the can of worms. So, okay, by that metric, if there's fireable offenses or whatever the case may be, you're essentially gonna trade the guaranteed contract for the right to not have a no compete anymore.
No. The FTC would deem it illegal to have a no compete. So if you
no, I hear that. What I'm saying is, say I'm signed, I'm $1 million guarantee, but I do some shit that gets me fired or I'm released, whatever the case may be. Now that there's no non-compete, I can immediately go to the other person's television and show up. However, I don't get any more money from my guaranteed contract.
Correct.
Ding. And that right there is the thing that may keep professional wrestlers from wanting to participate in this shit.
So here's the issue, though. You may have a lot of people at a buffet line ready to eat shit and not even know that that's what they're being served when they get their plates.
Bing. Bing bong. Like, hey, different isn't always better. I understand for the consumer thing, everybody thinks the non-compete will be so much better because, guys and gals in the wrestling world, they won't have to wait to show up to another employer, or they can do whatever they want. They can negotiate however they see fit. If anybody gets fired or released or whatever the case may be, this is the things you get for starting that gangster shit. Yeah. You can hit the ground running, but you don't understand that there are going to be things you sacrifice to get that freedom. Freedom ain't free.
Never has been.
Never will be. So are you willing to give up, 3 months of basically 3 months of cushion? Are you willing to do that? Do you know that you can always jump from one side to the other? What happens when the other side don't want you?
Or what happens when you don't get what you want from the other side? Because that's going to happen more often than not. You're not going to be
you're going backwards. You remember when Eric Bischoff said, I didn't really want Lex Luger, so I lowballed him, and he took it anyway?
Yep.
You're going to have shit like that happen.
Like, give me somebody who deserves better that's on SmackDown. Ricochet cannot expect to go to AEW and become the AEW World Champion within the next 12 months.
Absolutely not.
But if this happens, it's going to be a lot, and we're just using him as an example. We're not saying that this is the rule.
Right.
There's going to be a lot of damn Ricochets that's going to attempt this, thinking that they are the almighty, that they are the exception and not the rule, and they will definitely be more of the rule than the exception ever.
And then there's that. So it's a far more volatile work situation, and it's good that you have, and this is why we kept saying it's good that you have all of these different promotions and that they're thriving, or at least treading water. They're above water to where people have places to work and you can make a living, because now it's about to start getting even more cutthroat, because now with the non-compete, you decide to release somebody, it's just over with. Like, ain't no 3 months to help you get your shit together. When Black Monday shows up and motherfuckers just getting cut, you just cut. And if you didn't handle your money right last month, you got to figure out what to do. You finna be trying to hit up Mandy Rose and see if you can't figure out how to sell it.
The $1 million woman, you know what I'm saying? Shouts out to her.
Money, 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 money.
$1 million in the month of December.
Mandy DiBiase.
In the month of December, she pulled up in a vet, and someone asked her what she did for a living, and her response was, "I take pictures of my asshole and get paid for them."
Like, floored me, because she had dyed her hair back blonde, so it was like I wasn't used to that. I thought that was just somebody driving by when I saw the video, so I sent it to Wood like, "Hey, this is what Mandy Rose is gonna say next time somebody asks what she does for a living." Not realizing that was fucking Mandy Rose telling people what she does for a living.
Oh, outstanding.
If she ever goes back to wrestling, someone has to license Lil Wayne's a milli.
You dig?
And Kanos will do it. That's all I'm saying.
She has no, like, as long as she keeps racking in these mid 6-figure, low 7-figure months, not years, months, taking pictures.
Right.
Never take a bump again.
Most of the women have nothing to worry about. Like this whole non-compete shit and what may come from it. Most of the women in professional wrestling have nothing to worry about because of the Mandy Rose method. That's gonna be there for you.
It's crazy. It's crazy. Even moreover, the body parts alone, you never have to know who's on the other side. Like,
if you're creative enough, you don't really have to disrobe.
You could be dead mouse in it. Like, legit. No one knows who the hell Dead Mouse is except for Dead Mouse's mama and his agent.
Or Marshmallow.
Same. Absolutely. They're probably the same person. Because
you see what I'm saying?
You ever seen Dead Mouse and Marshmallow in the same place at the same time?
Nah.
Exactly.
What is even?
Go ahead.
Like you see what Natty Hart is, what she's been doing with her sister. You replicate that. No one has to disrobe ever. You can make that same money.
Whole lot of thirst trapping.
Because we're not talking about, okay, what are you going to do for the next 10 years? Mandy did this in a month.
There's some people that's been working 20, they ain't made $1 million.
If you just wanted to live a regular life and made $1 million in a month, you could do that and never have to talk to these people again.
The extent of your talking is making conversation with airspace.
You could fucking sell cameos for the rest of your days.
You could legit ignore anything that comes across the chat screen and just say anything random as a response to something that's on that screen without ever acknowledging what was on that screen and be able to make this money thinking that someone has a one-on-one interaction with you. What was the number one complaint, or what do you think the number one complaint is for people working in Stanford or for WWE as a talent?
The number one complaint before today?
This kind of wanted to say, okay, the number two complaint.
What, name, image, and likeness?
No, I'd say it was travel schedule.
Okay, all right.
I'd say it's travel schedule, and with that travel schedule, the stories have been 300 days a year, approximately.
Once upon a time, they don't do anywhere close to that now. Yeah, it might be half of that.
The irony of us talking about the banning of the banning of a no compete. Say that shit fast 5 times. Is you're going to put yourself in a position just because you can take indie bookings to be hitting 200 dates a year.
Yeah, you back to like territory shit basically.
And there's so many. I mean, hell, we got 6 in the DFW alone.
Right.
So we're talking like, I know of 2 or 3 in the Carolinas. I know of 3 in Oklahoma. Maybe 4 in Oklahoma. No, 3. I know 3 in Oklahoma. But still, like
the territory vibe is very much alive and well in 20 and 23.
No, tree. There it is.
Okay, trees.
Yeah. Tree.
Trees fell on his head. But yeah, the territory vibe is very much in play. So if you just wanted to trap it out like that, essentially what Pimp C was called going rock for rock. Like if you just wanted to get a booking schedule and just go rock for rock on the indies, you could. And that's what most guys might have to do. But for the women folk, there is another path. And I won't be so cut and dry saying the guys don't have that route, because there are people who will pay for that same content from the males. It's just if history's taught us anything, it's not in the same number.
Right.
That's all I'm gonna say. Preferences are what they are. I'm just saying, like, revenue wise, I feel like, women are gonna bring in a higher number, as is evident by Mandy Rose.
Yeah,
or Mandy DiBiase.
You're not. I can't think, and not to say that there aren't anybody that's closeted that wouldn't partake of this, but there are some males on that side too that would actually go for a male in that arena, there are some women on that side that will actually go for a male in that arena. I mean, for every one that is, there's two that won't. Or for every two that won't, for every one that won't, there's two that will. There's two that is. So
hey, however you want to break it down.
Yeah, however you want to break it down. The money is there
to be had.
To be had if you so choose. There is an alternative simply because of your fame. Now, do you want to exercise that and make that be your calling card? That's totally up to you. Because I don't know what happens for Mandy after this, but other than AEW, Impact, Bully Ray's already said he wanted her to give him a call in relation to getting on Impact. Which, if you got that kind of pull, fine, great.
Take a free check.
Yeah.
Because at this point they're throwing money at her. Now here comes the bidding war. How much are you willing to offer me to get off my couch and out of my pool? Because I'm making $1 million a month in my pool. So if I'm going to spend 48 hours fucking around with you and whatever your hot little idea is, how much is it worth to you? Because I can see a situation you cut Mandy a check and then she does a brief run as the internet champion. That would make perfect sense, wouldn't it?
Yeah, man.
So how much is that worth? How much is that, how much is my presence worth to you?
That title, I think, was generated specifically for Matt Cardona, and he wasn't even the first champion. And
right.
If anyone were to just to be like, you know what, fuck this, there's no way I can compete with this shit. Mandy, here's the internet champion. You can take this home forever and a day because you deserve it. No one would have a problem with it. Not a person.
Right.
And that'd be a great intro to come into Impact and do a pay-per-view a quarter. I like that.
Hey, peep this. I've never booked anything for Impact, and I'm about to do this for $1 Million Mandy. First of all, I'm changing her name to $1 Million Mandy. Pick a male superstar that could act as a bodyguard / heavy for Mandy. Anybody. He can be from anywhere.
A bodyguard / heavy.
Yes.
Okay.
Somebody just to do the heavy lifting.
Let's go Moose.
Okay, cool. Moose. That's even funnier for another reason that I won't talk about because so let Moose be the guy. So Moose does the heavy lifting for $1 Million Mandy. So on the debut,
he's Vincent. Wow.
Moose ends up smashing on whoever the digital champion is. Mandy just shows up and puts a foot on him and gets a 3 count. So she no bumps like we were talking about. You got to pay me to take a bump. So then Mandy takes the title home and goes directly to her fans only account and just starts doing, regular content with the internet championship. Impact has no shame about how they get eyes on their product, which they should.
Absolute fact.
So let's exploit what we have. Put that title on there. Where's this title from? It's from Impact. Where's Impact? Oh, it's on Axis. You get a few more viewers to come in. And then, Mandy only makes appearances either via satellite or when it's time for a pay-per-view. Moose defends the title on television. Mandy could go a year as the internet champion and never take a bump.
Here, handle this. I got content to make.
You see what I'm saying?
I like it.
For real. But please, everybody understand. Everybody out here wrestling ain't gonna have that same freedom. So don't just go out here quitting shit thinking you finna jump to the other side. You gonna Jake Roberts yourself.
Man.
And for those of you who don't know about Jake Roberts 1992, the reason he left WWF right after losing to The Undertaker at WrestleMania 8 was to take a job at WCW in a lead booking position for a substantial amount of money. The leadership changed. Bill Watts came into power. So by the time Jake Roberts came, that job was neither still on the table nor that money. So he ended up working as a talent for far less than what he had left WWF for.
Not to mention, longtime booker for Mid-South was also there in WCW at that time, which is Jake Roberts' estranged father, Grizzly Smith.
And that was essentially the beginning of the end. That's how shit started rolling way downhill.
Fast, as Jake would say.
Like, boy, mudslide. but yeah, don't ruin. And then he got bit in the face by a fucking cobra. Wink, wink. Don't Jake Roberts yourself trying to play both ends against the middle just because they take the non-compete away. I get it. Us as consumers, we're like, fuck it. It's the Wild Wild West again. Somebody could perform on SmackDown, leave the arena, get pulled over by the police with 3 pounds of gas, get fired, and then by next Wednesday, show up on Dynamite.
And then,
like, it's possible.
And then explain themselves. Like, no.
Right.
It's not the
move. Right. You haven't been arraigned yet. Like, you still got a court date pending and you out here talking about it on national television. It's very possible. But it ain't exactly all that it's cracked up to be. Us as consumers, we have one view. But then there's the view of the people cashing and writing checks. Just saying. Take that in consideration.
Let's put on our passport and get some stamps real quick. Take it over to Japan. Notables coming out of WrestleKingdom 17 this week. Tama Tonga beats Carl Anderson for the Never Openweight Championship. Why is that significant? Because Carl Anderson was that title holder while signed with WWE.
Gucci Mane there since his 17?
You would think. But then, there was no 38, so there's that. Kenny Omega defeated Will Ospreay, and after a promo that we saw from Will Ospreay, there was absolutely no reason. I don't know, man. I changed the booking when I hear promos like that. Will Ospreay was in his bag. Matter of fact, you know what? From WrestleKingdom, or from New Japan Pro, this is a press conference prior to WrestleKingdom 17. Will Ospreay talking to Kenny Omega.
No, fucking listen to me. Don, first of all, you can't, little cunt. Shut your fucking mouth. Listen to me now. You have no fucking idea. The mental state. You want to know my mental state, bruv? Mental state, you got to sit in your house and then do maximum, 3-hour drive to Florida. That's all you had to do during this. Mate, for me, right, it's a 12-hour flight from England all the way, right? But guess what? That turned into a 15-and-a-half-hour flight. Why? Because there's a fucking war going on in Russia and in Ukraine. And then after that, I was carted around the fucking airport for 4 hours because I had to prove that I was negative for COVID, even though I had a fucking doctor's note saying that I didn't have it. Then that wasn't good enough. Then I had to stay 14 fucking days in a hotel no bigger than a broom cupboard, bruv. 14 days of your own fucking brain. And then you're allowed to go out and go wrestle for everyone in silence without seeing any fucking daylight for 2 weeks. The shows would fucking end at 9 p.m. Restaurants would close at 8, so you were starving off your fucking roster, but we kept fucking going. Listen to me, I don't understand, and I don't know why anyone would want to watch clap crowd wrestling. I don't know anyone that wants to watch that, but people fucking turned up. So for that, I had to fight, and for you to fucking sit there and belittle me, you little cunt. How fucking dare you? You have not the slightest idea what I've gone through. My best friend fucking died, and I had to watch his funeral through a fucking iPad, bruv. How dare you sit there and belittle anything that I have fucking done to try and help? I get it, you're a big star, you're a fucking draw for this place. You have brought everyone, all the casual fans and all those Kenny Omega stands back to New Japan. Thank you so much. Because now they're going to watch you go down to me. The guy that's fucking stayed here, the guy that has given his fucking all to this place, mate. I listened to every fucking word that you told me 4 years ago. And I'm telling you now, I'm sorry for what happened to him. And I am sorry I took that away from you. But make no mistake about it. If you find yourself in that same position that he did, there isn't going to be a referee stopping me from caving your fucking head in, bruv. You will not belittle me on the grandest stage that I am on. This is my moment now. So you're either going to pass this torch or I am going to fucking take it from you.
I'm sorry. I'm not fucking with any man talking to me like that face to face, work or not. There was raw emotion in that, and I think the wrong guy won. Personal opinion.
While I agree, at the same time, Kano still has his relationship with New Japan, and you know there's going to be another Forbidden Door pay-per-view. So I wouldn't say that this is the last time you see them go at it. I don't think it's the end of their story. I just think New Japan was in a position where, because of the magnitude of this Wrestle Kingdom and the fact that the crowds are back and it's not so under attended, that you play the hits. Like, let's not take everybody too fast. Let's go ahead and reestablish. Let's do a hard reset. Go back to what we know to be a positive thing, so to speak, and then we'll build from there. Because like we talked about for last year's Forbidden Door, we were like, the biggest match you could have put on that card, especially after all the injuries swept through the roster, would have been the first ever U.S. soil Kenny versus Okada match. That's still on the table now. I guess Kenny's his recovery, schedule was not on par to do that, but I mean, here we are now. Kenny's U.S. champion, Okada's IWGP champion. There's no reason that can't happen.
But if Kaz Okada decides that this ain't the move right now, and they peck Will Ospreay for this Forbidden Door 2, is it worth the shot to make that the main event? Granted, I don't see why not. Yeah, Kenny did win the IWGP US title from Will Ospreay during this match, by the way. So that was actually overshadowed by how much heat that this match had going into it.
Considering the star rating that came out of this, and just the
that guy,
the general acclaim of the match for that particular section of wrestling fans, that being the main event of Forbidden Door, if you announce that today, you would get all of those people to buy that pay-per-view with no other match announced.
Agreed. Timing is everything.
Right.
Okada's a household name both in the United States and in Japan. So you could sell the pay-per-view off of that match if you did it right now too.
I'm saying you could sell Kenny versus either one of them.
Yeah. No, we're saying the same thing.
Yeah, you could sell it as the main event with either one of them and not announce any other matches, and you'd be fine.
Sadly, and I don't know if this is sad or not, considering what it looks like, but the greatest tag team in the world has ended 2022 with losses. It started 2023 with losses. FTR, and I'm taking nothing away from the Usos, mind you, because this is number 2. FTR loses their IWGP World Tag Team titles.
Beltless.
They are completely beltless.
Naked.
To Bishamon.
Beltless, naked. So, okay. Today's news revelations, I think they have an impact, no pun intended, on what happens with FTR next. Because now the landscape it may or may not be different. If WWE is about to be sold, who are they going to be sold to? Who's going to be in charge? Will the buyers decide that they want to add some of their own people into the day-to-day operations, and then that puts a monkey wrench into whatever the McMahon Helmsley faction decides they want to do with the product? we left one major potential buyer out of the conversation about who could leverage enough money to purchase WWE. And we talk about this all the time, so I almost feel bad that we left him out.
Yeah, boy, because he's not an entity, but more than he is a business man.
You know what I'm saying? The prodigal son returns home to buy everything. And for those of you who don't know what we're talking about, he's got a football league debuting in March.
You can smell what he's cooking if you're in the kitchen.
Just take the lid off the pot.
Raise the eyebrow.
If you hear me. So, yeah, like, you don't know what FTR is going to end up doing come April or May or whenever it is, because that would be also around the time you're coming off of Revolution, you're getting ready for Forbidden Door. It's also WrestleMania season. You're going to have to wait and see how this Old Man River reunion tour is going to go. Then you also know whatever your own issues have been in Jacksonville. Then what are your options as far as potentially Japan, stateside? Are we going to get some motion on this non-compete thing before then? It's a lot of things you got to consider.
Things are going, boy. Things are going.
It's a very, very busy time in the business aspect of professional wrestling.
Speaking of,
yeah,
no more Sasha.
For the time being.
But we got some Mone popping over in Japan, as Mercedes Mone made her long-awaited debut at New Japan during WrestleKingdom. Also, she's going to be challenging for the IWGP Women's title in, I believe it's in California. What, in February?
San Jose.
Yeah, there you go.
Yes, February 8th in San Jose, California.
And do you know who is from San Jose?
You make your way to San Jose. Wasn't Ron Burgundy? No, Ron Burgundy was in San Diego.
San Diego, sir.
So San Jose, Jose Lothario?
Nah, man, because bitch.
Jose
Texas.
Canseco.
Hell no. Close with Oakland, but no. Bailey.
I'm running out of Jose's.
Yeah, no Jose, no way Jose.
Yeah, no way Jose. That's who's gonna headline the show.
No, that actually would be Bailey. Bailey's from San Jose.
I mean, Bailey went to fucking Japan to show up for her partner, so yeah, of course she gonna be in San Jose. I'm like, give a fuck. I pull up. If you pull up to Japan on a fucking day's notice, what's going to San Jose? I mean,
nothing.
We got Mercedes.
You going home for a day?
Yeah, we got Mercedes Monet, so we can charter a jet. You ain't said shit.
Yo, and then next week on AEW Dynamite, how's this for speculation? They're in Inglewood,
California. I mean, there's nothing to stop this from happening. Now, see, you want something to be worried about, Kanos? Pay whatever the one-time fee is going to be to get this Mercedes Monet on live television. I don't care if she's sitting front row behind the guardrail.
Because they just announced that Tony Storm was going to be Soraya's partner for this match against Britt Baker, Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, and Jamie Hayter. But as much as Hikaru Shida was seemed like slighted by that whole interaction, something tells me she's about to beat the brakes off of Tony Storm, and that's when we see Mercedes Moné, probably accompanied by Paisley wearing Snoop Dogg.
And I would like to be the first person to say www.fuckthat.com. Here's why. You really gonna waste this bit of pimping that you got in your hand on a television, not even main event. I mean, you would put that match in the main event if you were formatting and you had greenlit it, but what's the bigger money play or Monet play? Have her in a one-off tag match on an episode of Dynamite where Snoop might, come walk with her to the ring or maybe perform her to the ring. Or option B, Mercedes Moné and Snoop Dogg either shown VIP attending the event, watching from in the skybox, or watching from front row ringside, and that be what pops your rating, because that's all you need. All you need is to show her face, and the internet's gonna go stupid, and then that's when people start calling people, and everybody decides they want to see how it looked. And you build based on the fact that she has a IWGP Women's Championship match coming in February. Let's say she wins. Who's got the easiest route to booking the IWGP Women's Champion on a pay-per-view called Forbidden Door?
Let's see. Tony Khan.
So are we in business to make money, or are we in business to make tweets?
That depends.
Because that's another match where you pick whoever you want. It could be, okay, mixtape. Give me 5 people that could be the challenger for Sasha Banks' IWGP Women's Championship, assuming she wins it and keeps it until Forbidden Door. Give me a 5-piece.
All right, number 1, Naomi.
Ha! Ha! Hit the bell.
Trinity Fatu. Her contract's up. She's a free agent.
Facts.
You want to blow the roof off? You want to make some noise? You keep her radio silent on anything wrestling inside of a building. She can take all the pictures that she wants to. But as far as being inside of a building, keep her far the fuck away. You don't even want her backstage or nothing.
I like it. That's
your number 1.
It. I want some more of it. Give me another one.
Let me see here. Number 2. Let's go. As much as everybody would hate this, you can't tell me this one ring bells. Amanda Sachs. Mandy Rose.
Count more money. Count more motherfucking money. Like, dead ass. Like, I don't know what the match would turn out to look like, but the promo, you're trying to make people spend money to watch this. Now, what it turns out like is what it turns out like, but the promo and the fucking anticipation, sky high.
Whatever,
I like it.
Whatever the relegation of casual fan is, that's who buys that show.
Mm-hmm. All right, give me another one.
All right, number 3. Let's see here. Belt for belt. If your champion is Jamie Hayter, use Jamie Hayter. If it's not, let's go with Dr. Britt Baker, DMD.
I like it. I would go Britt Baker because you have the opportunity for Mercedes to go over and not really hurt your own product too much. I like both of those options.
Do you really want Britt Baker, the very first signed talent to AEW, to end up being the HBK of AEW pay-per-view?
By HBK, you mean what?
Like losing when it matters the most.
I mean, are we really finna start worrying about how people get booked now?
Well, considering that this is the land where wins and losses matter.
Since when?
Don't question me.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay. I mean, when I start lying, like, no, this ain't the hill to die on now. We trying to get money. So if we gonna start having, promotional integrity about who we book to lose and who we book to win, we in the wrong fucking business and we in the wrong fucking locker room. Don't get self-righteous about the AEW Shield now. Fuck that. Don't do that. Don't let pride come before the fall. Don't do that shit now. You should have been doing that a long time ago.
You know what that is? That's pride fucking with you.
We don't deal with accusations.
Especially false accusations.
Yeah, exactly. You a big motherfucker. Must be out your damn mind. You think I'm gonna step on this money just because I don't want Britt Baker to take a L? Man, kiss my ass. Give me another one. Or you want me to do the last two?
I'm going to give you one, and hopefully this isn't one of yours.
Jade Cargill-Berg.
That's her. Yep. That's the one.
Now that's the one I'm concerned about beating. See, Britt Baker's lost before. The undefeated streak is the one I'm more concerned with keeping intact. And AEW doesn't typically do DQ finishes. Matter of fact, I don't think I've ever seen one or remember it anyway.
It's been a while that I can think for a match that actually mattered.
Yeah, and then I would also say if you're not gonna complete the road to 175-0, which at this point I've all but given up on, and you're gonna put a loss on Jade Cargill-Berg, that would be the person to do it. And not because of, being an ex-WWE talent or any of that, just that's the biggest name she's been in the ring with. So if you were gonna do it, and then you're gonna do it at Forbidden Door, because the whole idea of Forbidden Door is making a show that you can't see anywhere else, which means you need things to happen that you can't see anywhere else. That makes sense. Who you got for the last one?
I'm gonna let you handle the last one because I just handled 5 straight.
Alright, so look, we got
Trinity Fatu, Dr. Britt Baker, Jamie Hayter, Jade Cargill-Berg. Who was the second one I saw? Oh, Mandy Sachs.
So that 5th slot I feel like is going to be like a floating rotation. You got Nia Jax, who's not signed anywhere, so that would be a wow factor because you spend enough time off camera. When you show back up, you have that buzz.
But you can't sell that. Like you can't sell that unless she shows up like the week before on TV.
I'm saying, hell, look, how many times have we ever dealt with a situation where somebody has a mystery opponent and you don't know where that mystery opponent was until the actual show? That's how fucking Claudio debuted.
Do you think that things got sold based on that premise? Do you think tickets got sold based on the premise of who the person was or the fact that they don't know who the person is and they want to be surprised?
In that particular situation from last year, neither. But I mean, with all due respect, like Zack Sabre Jr. is a fantastic professional, but he's not selling any pay-per-views in America.
Right.
Mercedes Mone will. Absolutely. Even if it's a small number, a mystery opponent for Mercedes Mone is gonna sell, especially if you take the route we just took with you have a list of mystery opponents. And then you just walk one out. So in that particular instance, if you walked out a Nia Jax or you walked out who's another good one? Tessa Blanchard, even though she's radioactive. But if in that situation where you just pull out an absolute wow factor for either a match that you never expected to see in the confines of AEW or one that just would never have happened unless Mercedes was in the position that she's in, I think you'll get what you need because Mercedes is the draw. We just talked about this in the last tournament we did. Absolutely. Like she's a draw.
Yep.
So it almost don't matter who you put her in the ring with. It's just what story you're gonna tell.
Absolutely.
And then there's that. So there's 2 matches for Forbidden Door.
Shit. Do you... And here's what... Even crazier than this. If this IC rule or no compete rule does pass, by that time it will be in effect.
You think you'd have somebody dumb enough to quit WWE just to show up for Forbidden Door?
Nope, but I think what you will have is a renegotiated Mercedes Moné / Sasha Banks going back to WWE for Monday Night Raw.
Now that's fucking interesting. Not just with Mercedes, but the no compete clause. Could that be the catalyst that gets your first dual promotional signed talent?
I wonder if WWE signs Sasha Banks and allows Mercedes Mone to continue with IP.
That is also very interesting.
Now, because think about it, she set herself up when she knew this free agency was happening. She set herself up for success by copywriting and registering all of these trademarks.
No lies told.
Related to merchandising, related to her as a person, as a character, if you will, as an entertainer. And WWE obviously owns Sasha Banks. So who said that she ever has to go back to using that name? Because regardless, you're going to see her name and you're going to recognize whatever the new one is. If she ever sets foot back into WWE, it will not be as Mercedes Mone. She has a higher probability of setting back her in WWE as Mercedes Vernado more than she does Mercedes Mone, simply because the E can't capitalize off of Mercedes Mone.
It's the difference between Christian and Christian Cage.
Absolutely. So, but because of how she set everything up, and it's no different than what everybody else did. It was just the manner in which she went about doing it, because she technically was still under contract when she did this.
Mm-hmm.
Now they can play that card. Trips can actually get open, because that's one of his nieces too. He can get open if he wanted to and do this. If you wanted to do a couple night deal, sure, it's against everything that Vince stood for, but Triple H has been going against for the most part everything Vince has stood for. Look at the roster on SmackDown now. Half of what you see on Fridays are people that Vince fired.
Which is another reason why Kanos doesn't really gain anything other than a couple of likes by trolling Stanford via tweet. Like, play the long game for better business. Now, let me be the party pooper here. There's a reason why this probably will never happen. Simply because if there's an injury that takes place, do you know the levels of red tape that are going to have to be sorted through to figure out who's responsible for the medical bill? That by itself.
Oof. Do you think that's why companies like WWE, AEW, Impact, they quote unquote do the right thing? Is to prevent litigation for things like that?
I would think so. I would think that's very much a part of it. With Stanford, you're only performing in one place. You're not doing a bunch of outside shots to get hurt like that. Kanos has more of an open door policy where, hey, this is home base for you. So if you happen to get hurt for whatever reason, we'll help you take care of it. In a situation where you have dual promotions fiscally responsible for a talent, regardless of the IP, I guarantee you. That's
you saying it like that. It sounds like a shit show.
Exactly, and that's why it won't happen. Because it's a shit show. Like, the IP by itself is a shit show because you have two different companies trying to figure out the best way to book one talent, which means the talent might be in the best position ever because neither side is going to want that person to lose ever.
What was the name? What was the name of that wrestling promotion? Wrestling show that had everybody. Was it Wrestle War, or was it Wrestle Rock? I think it was Wrestle Rock. Where you had it was in like 85, 86, 87ish, where you had it was an AWA event that had talent from
Wrestle Rock.
Yep. Yeah, it had Jim Crockett Promotions on a show with I was about to say Vince, Vern Gagne.
Or you talking about the Super Clash shit?
That's it. That's the one. Super Clash. Wrestle Rock.
There is a Wrestle Rock thing.
Yeah, that was with Jim Crockett. There was Super Clash is what I'm talking about.
Super Clash worked because it was the last hurrah of the territories fighting back against Vince, but at the same time, a lot of those promotion stars were wrestling each other. That's like, we'll do a Forbidden Door show, but I would send you Pete Dunne to wrestle Ricochet. Like, we would only interact with our guys.
Yeah, like I'm going to have what's my name, Jimmy Garvin and Steve Regal take on the Midnight Rockers versus having Demolition take on the Road Warriors.
That part, like you're not gonna get the dream match. You're just gonna get. You're basically swapping skins in 2K.
You're changing the ring apron.
Yeah, you took a match from 205 Live and you put it on Dynamite with their arena. Like, yeah, you're not getting the interpromotional actual shit. Because it becomes a shit show. You don't know who's fiscally responsible for what. And then the litigate. Imagine a talent was to break their ankle. Shout out to
AJ Styles,
recovery to AJ Styles. Probably a poor choice, but this is the injury I'm gonna use. Talent gets a broken ankle, and you got to figure out who's responsible for paying it. Meanwhile, no treatment is being rendered until that particular point is ironed out. So now, what might have been 2 months, now 5. Meanwhile, you're still dealing with someone who can be fired, and they have a no compete, and you ain't got to pay them. But they're still litigating who's responsible for their ankle. Who's gonna pay for this bill? I paid for this film.
Whose fault was it? Well, it depends on who you ask. Well,
now you gotta go check the tape.
Until you figure that shit out, I'm going to take a nap.
You gotta check the tape, and then you gotta figure out the difference between a work and the truth. So now you're doing depositions on an in-ring injury.
on a choreographed match. Wink, wink.
Exactly.
If you have some people that you want to put on this WrestleKingdom card against Mercedes Moné as the IWGP Television Champion,
Forbidden Door card, and WrestleKingdom didn't cut us no check.
Oh yeah, that's right. My bad. Forbidden Door. You're right. You know where to hit us up. Show at BrokenPistolBC.com, BrokenPistolBC@gmail.com. That's at BrokenPistolBC on all things social. So that's at BrokenPistolBC on what?
Everything.
We got anything else?
Don't go quitting your day job.
Well, shit, there it is. Suave, take him to the house.
Pencil pushes. Heads up. Pencils down.